Hey everybody. All right, we've been talking a lot about measuring in the last couple weeks, and this week we're going to talk about a different kind of measuring, and that's measuring the weight of something. So that's how heavy or how light something is. And I'm sure you guys have probably all stood on a scale before, or maybe at a doctor's office or at home to see how much you weigh. And we have some of those scales at school that some of you have played with, where you put something in one side and something in the other side to see which one's heavier. So we're going to talk a little bit about measuring weight this week, and you guys are going to be doing some measuring of your own. But I have a great book all about that kind of measuring, and it's called Shmequal. Isn't that a funny title? So this book is by Virginia Krall, illustrated by Philomena O'Neill. And I can see a little scale balancing on the bear's nose there. So you can already tell what it's going to be about. Shmequal. A little brown mouse sat under a leaf watching a school picnic. The children finished eating and began to play some tag. Some chose teams for a game. The two sides have to be equal, one of them shouted. The children pulled on the ends of a rope. One team was pulled over a line. The other team cheered, "Hooray, we won, we won!" So it looks like they were playing tug of war. You ever played that game? Then one of the teachers called out to the children. They all got into a big yellow bus that drove off down the road. It was quiet. That looked like fun. "Hey, Bear," called Mouse. "Come out and play." Bear walked out from the trees. "What do you want to play?" "It's a game," squeaked Mouse. "You take one end of the rope and I'll take the other. We both pull to see who wins." Any guesses who's going to win that round? Bear gave the rope a mighty yank, and Mouse flew across the field. She landed on the ground with a thump. "Hey," said Bear, "where did you go?" "No fair," squeaked Mouse. She picked herself up. "I forgot that teams have to be equal." Shmequal," said Bear. Suddenly, sharp claws grabbed Mouse. It was Bobcat. "Gotcha," he snarled. "Help!" squealed Mouse. Bear stood up on his hind legs and growled. "Let Mouse go right now!" Bobcat whimpered, "I just want to join the game." "See, Wolf's right here. He wants to play too." Wolf stepped out into the open. Mouse brushed off her fur. She said in her bravest voice, "Of course you guys can play. Everyone can play, as long as the teams are equal." Shmequal," said Bear. He reached into one of the trash cans and pulled out a half-eaten sandwich. Rabbit hopped into the field. "Can we play too?" Rabbit asked. Box Turtle plodded close behind. "What does equal mean anyway?" he asked. "Equal means fair," explained Mouse. "We should divide into two equal teams somehow." Shmequal," Bear mumbled, with a mouthful of chocolate cake. "Let's try meat eaters against plant eaters," said Rabbit. "That would be fair." "What about Turtle and me?" asked Mouse. "We eat anything small enough." "Well," said Rabbit, "what are your favorite foods?" Mouse replied, "I like blackberries best." "I eat mostly bugs," said Turtle, "but my favorite food is dandelions." "Well, if you like plants best, you belong on my team," said Rabbit. "So, it's animals that eat only meat against the rest of us." Bobcat laughed. "You think this is equal? Ha!" With just one hard pull, he and Wolf yanked Mouse, Rabbit, and Turtle across the line. They landed in a heap. "That wasn't equal," Turtle complained, peeking from his shell. Bobcat said, "Everyone with fur, go to one side. Everyone without fur, go to the other." But that left only Turtle on a team. That couldn't be equal. "Does anyone know what halves are?" Rabbit asked. I've heard the farmer talking about halves. Halves are what you get when you make two groups with the same number, Mouse said. We can't make halves because there are 5 of us. Just then, Mouse saw hooves behind a bush. Hey, she said, maybe Deer will want to play. Then we can make halves. Deer slowly stepped out of the woods. It looks like fun, she said, but I want to keep an eye on Wolf and Bobcat. I'll pull from behind. The animals lined up, 3 on one side and 3 on the other. They pulled, but once again, Mouse, Rabbit, and Turtle were easily dragged over the line. You see the problem here with their teams? No fair, complained Rabbit. They're all big and we're all small, so it isn't equal at all. You're right, said Mouse. The numbers are equal, but that doesn't make the teams equal. Equal Shmequal, said Bear, finishing off a piece of pizza. The animals scowled at each other. Everyone began talking at the same time. It's no fair you're so much bigger. You're just mad because you lost. You don't care if the teams are equal as long as you can win. Mouse sat by herself and tried to think of a new idea. She tapped a tiny foot and twirled a wiry whisker. Listen, said Mouse. Listen up, she said louder. I have an idea. The animals stopped fighting. Well, said Bobcat, what's your great idea? I thought that instead of equal numbers, she explained, our teams could have equal weights. We could use the seesaw to figure it out. Look, said Mouse. When what's on one side of the seesaw is equal to what's on the other side, the seesaw balances. You can tell because it's straight across. Okay, said Turtle, let me get on first, since I can't jump. He walked onto the end of the seesaw, touching the ground. I'll get on the other side, Wolf said. Wolf jumped onto the center of the seesaw and made his way to the end. Turtle was lifted high into the air. He looked down the long way to the ground and tried not to be scared. So you can tell who is heavier now. Deer got up on Turtle's side. Their side sank down, and Wolf rose up in the air. I'm next, shouted Bobcat. He got onto Wolf's side, but Wolf and Bobcat together were still up in the air, so they still were not heavier than the deer and the turtle. With a mighty hop, Rabbit landed in front of Bobcat. Now the seesaw was almost balanced. Come on, shouted Rabbit. You're the last one, Mouse. Mouse scampered up next to Deer. The seesaw teetered back and forth before resting perfectly straight across. The teams were balanced. We did it! We're equal, Mouse squeaked. Then Bear looked up from his crumbs and ran over, roaring, Wait for me! He jumped on and down went his side of the seesaw with a bump. Deer, Mouse, and Turtle went flying into the air. Oops, said Bear. I guess it's not equal anymore. Boy. We can get this right, Mouse said cheerfully. Let's try again. Bear, you get on first. Bear sat on one end with the other end high in the air. Bobcat offered to get on the high side first. If I fall, I'll land on my feet. Cats always do. The rest of the animals got on. Each one made Bear's side lift a little. Finally, all the animals were on, except Mouse. Come on, shouted Rabbit. We're almost equal. Mouse jumped onto the middle of the seesaw. Bear's side was higher, so she walked toward him. The seesaw was perfectly balanced. So look at these equal teams. It's definitely not the number of animals on the team because this side has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 animals, and this side only has 2. So they balanced it by the weight of the animals because that bear weighed as much as almost all of them put together. They jumped off one by one and picked up the rope. Bear and Mouse were on one side of the line and all the other animals were on the other. Okay, said Mouse, now the teams have equal weight. So whichever team pulls the other across the line wins. Bear and Mouse pulled. Turtle, Rabbit, Bobcat, Wolf, and Deer pulled back. I'm bigger than all of you, said Bear. I'll win. Come on, said Rabbit to her teammates. There are more of us. Pull harder. They pulled and tugged, but neither team moved an inch. What if no one can win? Asked Rabbit. Suddenly, they heard a loud buzzing overhead. Bees, shouted Bear. There must be honey nearby. He took one paw off the rope to point at the swarm of bees. Just then, the other team gave a mighty pull and Bear stepped over the line. Hooray, said Rabbit, we won! But the teams were equal, said Deer. How did we win? What really matters is equal effort, said Mouse. When we all pulled our hardest, the effort was equal. That's why no one could win. But when Bear saw the bees, he forgot to pull. The effort wasn't equal anymore. He was not pulling hard. Equal Shmequal, said Bear. I want some honey. Mouse laughed. Time for a honey break, she said. The animals followed the bees to their hive in a tree. There was more than enough honey for everyone, and they shared it equally. What it means to be equal. In math, to be equal means have parts that are the same in weight, size, quantity, or other measure. In art, equal can mean symmetrical. Ooh, I know some of you have heard that word before, which means you can draw a line right through the middle of something and one half looks just like the other half. In law, equal means having the same opportunities, rights, and privileges. In team sports, the teams have equal numbers. All the players must give their best effort in order to have the best chance of winning. So, this week, you guys are going to be making your own little scale. You're going to try your best to make your own scale at home. And that way you can figure out what things in your house are heavier or lighter, or you might even find two things that are equal. If they balance like this straight, that means those two things are equal. Okay, so I can't wait to see and hear about what things you guys decide to weigh this week. All right, see you later.